Hey everybody, it's Professor Malat, and this is the week two overview. Welcome to my office. I think last week in my last video, I had some kind of background going on. This week you get treated to the black streak on my wall as well as some of the plaster marks. I really need to paint in here. I have blank space on this wall. So it hopefully will come around to having a little bit of time to redecorate in here and make my wall look a little bit better behind me. Anyway, let me share my screen and we will take a look at what we need to do this week. This week, we're focusing more on how to write a college essay. So we are talking a little bit about academic writing and the whole writing process. And we have some readings that will expose you to this idea of no longer accepting the long taught format of the 5 paragraph essay. So we can explore how to move beyond that and why academic writing often needs to break free of that very formulaic 5 paragraph essay format. So hopefully we'll learn to write a little bit more organically and figure out how we can best move through that writing process. We'll learn about the writing process. It's a recursive process rather than a sequenced series of steps. So we go back through all of the various parts of the writing process while we are writing something. The objectives this week are to use reading and writing for inquiry and to recognize that writing is a flexible and recursive process. So we have the checklist here, review the readings in the media. We have several things to read through, and I'll talk a little bit about them and open up those links for you. We also have 2 assignments. The first one is the summary of 3 potential careers, which I'll go over in a minute. And then we have a discussion board sharing how you write an essay. What is your process? So I want you to have a little bit of a discussion about that, how you attack a certain writing task, especially when it comes to writing essays. You've already written the introductory essay, so now I want to find out a little bit about how you actually move through that process. The initial post for that will be due Sunday the 26th, and responses, as usual, are due the following Wednesday, the 29th. So let's take a look at our readings. This week we have a few more things that are kind of adding to the smorgasbord of ideas to help prepare you for the next essay that will be coming up. The first really formal essay that you will be writing is kind of a narrative. It's kind of a career exploration where you will kind of build upon what you essentially talked about in your introductory essay. You will look at some of these things, you will read these things and examine some of the data that's being presented to you. And so we'll talk about that in a minute. So we have the first one, is college worth it? And this is a PDF of an article, I'm trying to remember where it's from. I think it's US News and World Report. Yes, US News and World Report. So this is from 2023. Students need more data, not less, to determine the value of college. So I'm not trying to convince you to drop out or anything like that. Actually, it's the opposite of that. I want to provide you with some ideas to think about why you're in college, why it is worth it, and why you want to invest in your education as well as in your future, right? So these are a couple of good articles. We have some information that says that it's pretty solid data that a bachelor's degree can help you earn more money. So the return on investment, or the ROI here, is pretty high. Multiple studies have shown that you also have an enhanced quality of life, a deeper sense of purpose, and exposure to diverse populations, and develop lifelong friendships by having a college education. Is that still true? Hopefully. Otherwise, I may be out of a job. There are some downsides, of course, the net price of things and, the cost of tuition and going into debt and that kind of thing. So you really have to balance the pros and the cons when it comes to pursuing a 4-year degree. 2-year degrees are a little bit different, but I think it's pretty good and pretty solid data that shows that the return on investment is pretty positive. So that's a good article. The second one, we have information in 2024. Is a college degree worth it in 2024? And this is from the Pew Research Center. So Pew Research Center is pretty unbiased here. And they show you how they compile their information, where they get their data. They also include terminology for young adults, non-college adults, so on and so forth, so that you understand how they are using the data. So they have polled people, and only 22% of US adults say the cost of college is worth it, even if someone has taken out loans. So 47% say it's worth it, but only without taking loans. Some 22% say it's worth it even with loans, and 29% say it's not worth it at all. So we have a lot of things to be aware of, right? 1 in 4 US adults say it's extremely or very important to have a 4-year degree in order to get a well-paying job in today's economy. 35% say a college degree is somewhat important, and 40% say it's not important or not too important. Roughly half of the people say it's less important to have a 4-year college degree to get a well-paying job than it was 20 years ago. So things are changing, and I think COVID has really affected us. The whole gig economy and the whole wave of people being able to work remotely. These are all factors that come into play. So this is also a very interesting thing to read through and look through and take a look at the data that they're presenting. So that's a pretty cool website too. Then I have some things on reading strategies, an introduction to the writing process, and an article on pre-writing. So I'd like you to take a look at the 3 of those links, as well as some of the videos that we have below. So here we have the writing process. This is an animated video that talks through the writing process. It's 13 minutes long, so if you would rather go through something a little bit shorter, there is a crash course video in partnership with Arizona State University Study Hall. Their whole composition series is one that I recommend, but this one on the writing process, it's roughly 9 minutes long, and it's pretty decent. Then I have a couple of videos if you're curious about why we shouldn't be writing 5-paragraph essays anymore in college. This one here from The Nature of Writing is good, as well as Organic Essay Structure. So again, they're not super required, but I really highly recommend that you watch them. If you want a little bit of grammar review, down here in the optional materials, we have information on run-on sentences and sentence fragments. Run-on sentences and sentence fragments are probably the 2 most common errors that I come across in student writing. From 099 all the way through 2089. It seems to be a consistent thing. Students have difficulty understanding when they need to use periods, when they need to use semicolons, and when they need to use commas. So those 2 articles are really good to read. And then, of course, with our course topics, if you are just into having some extra stuff to look at, I have a list of recommendations. If you watch the writing process video from Crash Course, I do have some notes there on a Canvas page that you can read through. And then these 2 things here, the Hamilton Project and the Occupational Outlook Handbook, these 2 links are actually related to the summary of 3 potential careers assignment that I am asking you to do for this week. So let's take a look at the summary of 3 potential careers. So the reason I have those 2 links listed in optional is because I actually have them linked here. I am assuming that you will take a look at both of these so they can help you to identify occupations that you might be interested in. I'm asking you to select 3 occupations and to write a summary of what you've learned about each of them. I'm not asking for your opinions about them or why you're interested. I want you to summarize. Um, so briefly give me the highlights of the main points and the key details of the information you've read. So the questions here to help you with your summary: what are the main responsibilities of the occupation? What qualifications or skills are required? What's the typical work environment like? What is the average salary or job outlook for this occupation? And are there any interesting facts or unique aspects about that occupation? The Occupational Outlook Handbook is really, really handy to help you with this summary. So I'm going to open that up here and you can take a look at it. You can also scan and have it on your phone. So they give a list of occupation groups. These are really, really generic. So if you are, let's say you're interested in well, let's go with healthcare. We seem to have a lot of nursing students at UC Claremont, so let's take a look at healthcare, right? And they have the variety of healthcare occupations. So if you're interested in becoming a dental hygienist, or we will skip down here to nurses, nursing assistants and orderlies. What about just nurses? Registered nurses, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Registered nurses. So RNs. Those of you who are interested in nursing are probably in pre-nursing right now. But if you're interested in moving on and transferring into a 4-year degree program, here we have information on what you need. So the typical entry-level education for a registered nurse is the bachelor's degree, right? You need a 4-year degree. So they have a summary of what a nurse does, what the work environment is like, how to become one, how much their pay is, and this is updated May of 2023. So this is fairly recent information, what the job outlook is, and so on and so forth. So you can look at a bunch of different occupations here. Again, if you are focused on one or you're pretty sure, just choose a couple of others that you think, well, that might be interested, right? Might be interesting if I had if I didn't have to worry about money, for example. So if maybe you're really into art and design, right? And you want to be a fashion designer or something, but you want something that's a little bit more secure, this might not be a guarantee. Whereas if you're going into nursing, it's pretty much guaranteed to have a decent job. Because nursing and nurses are in great demand. Anyway, this is the Occupational Outlook Handbook. I do provide you with the Hamilton Project website, and this is interesting as well, just to compare. So they have these graphs, they're interactive graphs where you can select up to 4 degrees in education levels. So we start with high school, right? They say it's a high school degree. Someone who has graduated from high school or has a GED, right? And then we can plug in an associate's degree. So if you are just wanting to stop your education after 2 years, you get your associate's. By doing that, you're already boosting your potential income, right? Over just having a high school degree or high school diploma or a GED, right? So based on 2018 dollars, thousands of 2018 dollars, we have the potential right away of earning at least 26,000 over 19,000, right? And then that increases throughout the lifetime. See how it goes, and you can look at the potential throughout the number of years. Now, let's say you want to see how many we'll put an average of all majors for a bachelor's degree. So any kind of bachelor's degree, it doesn't matter. Again, that really boosts the potential income right off the bat. So we see 19, 26, and 37. And then you can go even more specific. So again, let's use our Let's see if they have nursing. Yes. So again, we put nursing in there. We have even the potential of making more money, right? If anybody is in, let's see, do they have aviation? No, they don't. Although they do have aerospace engineering, really a boost of income. Accounting is a popular one as well, and that's a boosted income. So, and again, it increases throughout the the number of years since the start of the career. So this is kind of fun just to play with if you aren't sure what kind of career you want to pursue and what kind of major might be the best for you, right? The best return on investment. This can be something to play with, especially if you are this is your first year and you really aren't sure what you want to do. You might be in the exploratory program right now, or you might be considering changing your major. That can be a really helpful thing, a really helpful tool. So hopefully this exercise, this summary of 3 potential careers will help you to clarify things a little bit for yourself. The summary does not have to be very long. I'm asking for only about 150 to 200 words, so it doesn't really need to be in depth. And you can upload it as a text, as a file, or as a text entry. So if I go into student view here, you click on assignment, you can either upload a file, which will open up your Explorer there to figure out what file you need to upload, or you can open up the text entry and start typing in the box, right? Type correctly. Just remember to click on submit assignment when you're done. That way you know that the assignment has been submitted. So that is the first assignment, the summary of 3 potential careers, and then we have a discussion board assignment asking you, how do you write an essay? So think back to a time when you had to write an essay. It could be from high school, another course, or the essay that you just wrote for this course. I want you to reflect on your experience and create a numbered list of the steps that you took to write the paper. So here are the steps to follow. Topic, what was the essay about? If you can't remember, that's fine. Did you need to do any kind of research? How did you gather the information? What sources did you use? Again, we haven't done research in this class yet. So if you want to recall another class that you took or something from high school, that's fine to include. Did you create any kind of an outline? What did it include? What was your drafting process like? Did you write multiple drafts? Were you required to, or do you write multiple drafts and then come back? Did you revise your essay? How did you do that? Did you get feedback from others? These are all things that we will be doing in future essays, but I want to know what your experience has been. What steps did you take to edit and proofread your essay? Maybe you haven't taken those steps at all. That's fine. And then final submission. How did you prepare your final draft for submission? You can add any additional steps you took or any tips you found helpful during the process. I want you to share your experiences and learn from each other. Initial post, as I said before, is due Sunday the 26th, and then your response to 2 peers is the following Wednesday, January 29th. So there's a lot of information here that you can pick and choose from. Definitely read Is College Worth It? And definitely take a look at Is a College Degree Worth It in 2024? And again, I provide the other information on the writing process and reading strategies if you are kind of struggling to get started with writing, or if you may potentially have some kind of problems with reading, especially reading comprehension and something like that. There's also the additional stuff down in the optional materials. If you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with me. Have a fantastic week. It's been great reading through all of your introductions. I will be writing responses throughout the week, and taking a look at your introductory essays and providing a little bit of feedback. Thank you very much for being so timely with your submissions. It is really meaningful to me that you are taking the time to care about getting off on the right foot. So take care and have a fantastic week, everyone. Bye bye.